Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. In the previous episode, it was the beginning of trial day 1 after having the overview from Emma Sky, and now we have declared Larry Butts as a witness, and he needs to testify, and we're going into a 15-minute recess break. If you're here for today's episode and see what Larry has to say, make sure to hit that like button and support really appreciate the channel. Now, let us begin.
I ask that both sides prepare for the next witness testimony during this time.
Alright, let's see what happens. September 22nd, District Courthouse, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
Wow, it's been a while since I have this much fun and excitement. A face-off against Mr. Antwerp, a herring tightrope walk for the defense.
Phew, I'm exhausted already. Boss?
Oh, I'm here for moral support.
Athena, are you all done practicing for Trucy's magic show?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I sorta ran away. But that's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell you.
I see. I think I'll need to have a one-on-one with her. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks she can run you ragged.
That may be true, which is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run all at full speed. Ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Huh? Magical girl, Trucy Wright is on the scene. No! Now, Athena, it's time to practice human combustion magic. Go on, douse yourself in the gasoline. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe.
Gasoline? Really?
Run away! Hey, you're not getting off that easily.
I wonder if Phoenix has introduced his daughter yet.
They get along so well, don't they? It reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearlie. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe. Can't forget him.
Yeah, it would have been more reminiscing if we had him on as testimony.
We had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember?
Leaving me to do all the serious investigating as I recall.
Court will soon be back in session, Mr. Wright.
Right, thank you.
So Larry's the next witness, right? I can't wait to see what happens.
Sally, I can already imagine it. September 22nd, District Courtroom number 6.
Court will now reconvene.
Nick, Edgy, the two of you are gonna hang me out to dry, aren't you?
No, not the both of us, just Mr. Wright.
Nick, how could you? I don't really think he did it, of course, but I've gotta use whatever leads I can. We're down with 2 strikes. Mr. Butts, there's a possibility you moved the lantern that had the dead body in it. So if you want to clear yourself of any suspicion, all you have to do is testify.
Now then, your testimony please, witness.
Okay. Nick is a jerk face. What the heck? Nick, you big fat sticking jerk! How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school! Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over!
Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours.
Why me?
You're the one who called him to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Can't any of you show me some little respect, even just a shred? You may cross-examine a witness, Mr. Wright.
I would if there were any testimony to a cross-exam. What is there? It's basically stating that he's a big old jerk. Okay.
Hold it!
Come on, Larry. Can't you please give me something real to work with?
Don't think I don't know about your tricks. If I say anything careless, you're gonna shove some. I'm losing here and there. What the heck? Shove some evidence at me with a loud objection and a super smug look on your face.
Yeah, well, that is my job.
And if I get found guilty, how are you gonna take responsibility for what you've done?
Why should I take responsibility for just doing my job?
You heartless jerk! Don't you have any compassion for me?
Alright.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, Mr. Butts, but if it wasn't Miss Wyatt that entered the hole with that card, then you're the most likely suspect.
Nick, are you seriously doubting the innocence of your own childhood friend?
Well, technically yes, but it isn't personal, I assure you.
Oh, a true friend would believe in me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick! Nick!
You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you?
Okay, fine. In that case... Hold it!
Larry, listen to me.
Shut up! I'm not talking to you anymore!
This is getting us nowhere. Come on, come off it, Larry. If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Wyatt will be found guilty.
For real?
That's where it goes.
If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butts, for real. Now, not that I would have a problem with that myself.
Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hold and move a lantern up to the reception hall?
I never move any bull lantern, I tell you.
Bull lantern?
What? Did I say something weird?
You told me that you didn't attend a wedding reception. And yeah, we gave him his freaking wallet and he gave us a picture. So, he contradicts no matter what.
Yeah, so what?
Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was moved. Really? You had to put that? So how could you... You could have said gender, but no. So how could you know that it was a bull lantern?
You didn't have to actually go to the reception to know that. Anyone can tell we're two pegabulls by looking at the Flying Shuffle's pamphlet.
All I can tell right now is that there's a strong scent of bull in the air here. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butts.
Anyone could tell there were two pegabulls by looking at the Flying Shuffle's pamphlet.
Hold it! That's where you look wrong. Seriously, Larry? If you hiding something, you better fess up now.
I'm telling you, I don't know nothing! Why do you have to doubt me so much?
Why? Because you're you, that's why!
Angie, you think Nick's being awful to me, don't you? So you tell Nick what a big meanie he is!
I would, if I thought he was big one.
Not you too! Why doesn't anybody ever take my side?
I wish I didn't have to doubt him, but something about what he just said doesn't add up.
You finally got a decent statement out of him, huh, Nick?
Yeah, finally. Sure took a lot of work, though. I hope all this leads somewhere. So he says the freaking peckable, blah blah blah. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, present.
Love is always in the air. Flying shovel, the only wedding. After the ceremony of the sprockets, the Pega Moo mascots will light up a happy couple with both sides. I think we have to show the freaking thingy. You got the Pega Poo, make a Pega Cow, so we're on the right statement, right? Okay.
Objection! I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butts.
Because unfortunately for you, the pamphlet clearly shows a Pega Cow and a Pega Bull in their example diagram of the reception hall. But on that day, instead of putting a Pega Cow and a Pega Bull out for the bride and groom, there were 2 male Pega Bulls on the display. Are we supporting... Never mind. Yet somehow you knew there were 2 Pega Bulls in the reception hall that day. There's only one way you know something like that, Larry. It was you who moved the Pega Bull to the reception hall, wasn't it?
No! Larry, you didn't! Mr. Boss, did you move the ledger containing the victim's body to the reception hall?
That's what it looks like!
What?
Always the buttons. Hold it.
Wait, Nick! You don't think I'm the murderer, do ya?
Maybe you and Mr. Gooseberry were fighting over Miss Wyatt and you end up killing him?
Maya, not you too! Look, I did sneak into the reception, but that's not as far as I went. You know me, I want to learn to fly.
You snuck into the reception?
Yeah, sure, but some of the Sprocket men caught and locked me up in one of the cabins. It was pretty awful, actually. But that's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick.
Ixnay on the Aerodactyl, Larry.
Mr. Wright, not even you would take this farce that far, would you?
We are talking about Larry. What do I do? Do I accuse Larry of being the true culprit? Of course not. No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butts didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure. Wait, what? But not Mr. Gloomsbury. After all... Oh, I get it, because he's the freaking groom, that's why.
After all, he did steal Mr. Sprocket's... bride to try to elope with her.
Just because I try to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer!
I believe you, Larry. And I don't think you killed anybody either. You would never do anything like that.
Nick! Oh, buddy! Oh, pal! I knew you'd come through for me!
Funny, that considering you swore in your testimony just now that we were through.
Mr. Butts, it's time you told the court the whole truth, understood?
Round 2. Moving the lantern. Ah, we're getting close.
It's just like Nick said, I'm the one who moved the lantern.
Okay, there's Mr. Butts. But why would you move the freaking lantern? It's my question.
I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. There was a note on it. It said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. So I decided to Ellie a favor. So you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? Then that means the victim really was killed before the reception.
Broken lantern updated in the court record.
It would appear that Mr. Butts completely fell for the defendant's scheme.
Scheme? What scheme?
This note from the defendant, exchanged with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butts moved the lantern with the body in it up to the reception hall because of its note. And thus, he has become a suspect in Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. An accomplice? that second lantern did feel pretty heavy. But I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. What was a note like that doing on a lantern in the first place? Hold it.
You've got it all wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. I left that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful.
Objection! What a solid excuse, Miss Wyatt. The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plan. And you, Mr. Butts, you played right into Miss Wyatt's hands. No way, Edgy! I don't believe it! Do you still really believe Miss Wyatt to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course, my stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove it with your cross-examination. Gladly. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. All we can do now is just press on for answers. That's all I can think of.
So he has 4 statements. I'm the one who moved the lantern. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event.
Hold it!
The lantern you swapped out was a female Pegamoo, a Pega cow, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Why did you replace a female lantern with a male one?
Because I was too busy trying not to get caught. I didn't have time to check for little details like that.
If you didn't want to get caught, you could have just left well enough alone, you know.
Whatever! Anyway, when I took a look at the broken lantern, I saw... the note, right? There was a note.
An exchange with the one...
Hold it.
That note wasn't addressed to you, was it?
Well, I guess not, but... how could I let my dear sweet Ellie do all the hard physical labor on her own?
It's precisely that thought process that constantly gets you in trouble, Larry.
Besides, it was my big chance to show her how much I care about her.
Great.
So, I decided to do Ellie a favor.
Hold it!
Nobody saw you the whole time while you were switching the lanterns? Nope, I didn't get caught. Not that in time, anyway.
Not that time?
Yeah, when I tried to sneak into the reception hall the first time. Yo, we should add that to the thumbnail. I didn't have as much luck. Those sprocket guys spotted me and nabbed me.
All of my words are failing me right now.
Pretty exciting, don't you think?
Larry, you need help.
And then they locked me up in one of the cabins. Nick, what are you asking about stuff like this for anyway? Shouldn't you be trying to prove Ellie's innocence?
Well, is that statement of his important to his case? It's important.
Mr. Bud's trying to crash the reception
And whatever, getting locked up in the cabin.
I believe these might be important facts in the case, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Butts, please add that statement to your testimony. I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in the cabin.
Hold it!
So you got locked up.
Then what happened? Then they won't let me out.
I broke out. Then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall again. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it.
Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Wyatt.
But hold on a minute.
What is it, Nick?
Maya, doesn't something seem weird to you?
Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin.
That's right. Oh, wait, huh?
He replaced the lantern after he broke out the...
Oh. You're right, it doesn't make sense.
Hold up. Where's the cabin? We need a diagram. Okay, what was he saying? Okay, so he was in the cabin.
He was at the reception hall and found the freaking lantern. He bring it and back to the hold. He broke out. What did he exactly say? Hold up. Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. The lantern after he broke out of the cabin. Huh. I still don't get it. Mr. Wright, have you found any inconsistency in the witness statement? Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out the cabin, but that contradicts with this. The pamphlet? The lantern in which the victim's body was found, Larry wheeled it from the hold to the reception hall before the reception began. Yo, what was the entire statement? I forgot. I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in the cabin. Hold it. So you got locked in the cabin, then what? I broke out. Then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it. Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Wyatt? Well, hold on a minute. Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out the cabin. I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in the cabin. What was his testimony? No, so I decided to do Ellie a favor. There was a note in exchange, blah blah. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. And then, what did he do? There was a note on it that says exchange with the one in the hold. Okay, it's precisely the process that constantly gets you in trouble. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. And then it's important, blah blah. I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in a cabin. I broke out, then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall again. That's when the lantern in which the victim's body was found, Larry wheeled it from the hole to the reception hall before the reception began. I got nothing really. It's like an important detail, but it's really not clicking to my head right now. It's really not clicking to my head. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. Contradicts with what? The pamphlet, really? But that contradicts with this. We're not being penalized for this, right? We're not being penalized? Move the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. I don't know. Maybe.
Take that!
Oh, come on. So we're not being penalized if we press on that.
Hold it!
So we're gonna keep on pressing again because it's really not clicking my head at all. It's not really clicking. It's not really clicking. At least we do not get penalized for this. Larry's saying, I don't understand. I do not understand. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. I got nothing. The broken lantern?
Take that!
Yes, it's the broken lantern, Your Honor.
Mr. Butts, what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. I really don't. What? Why not? You swapped the lanterns before the reception began, right? Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? But you also just said you swapped the lanterns after you got locked up in a cabin for trying to sneak into the reception. In other words, you're saying you swapped the lanterns both before the reception and after the reception took place. That certainly doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah, I didn't even understand either. Mr. Boss, did you swap the lanterns before or after? Which was it? Before or after? There's a world of difference between the two. Well, Mr. Butts, I guess I can expect guys like you to understand. In a nutshell, it was both before and after the reception. What? I tried to sneak into the first reception and got locked up. The first reception? Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going. Then, through the power of Ellie's pendant, time got rewound and we went back to the time before the reception. It was after that when I replaced the lantern. So it was both before the reception and after the reception. Get it? Do not say time travel. We went back in time to before the reception. So of course the reception would take place one more time after that, right? That's what I said makes perfect sense. Mr. Wright, what in the world is the witness talking about? Has he developed some sort of intellectual ailment I'm not aware of since I last saw him? Well, none of the sprockets seem to remember the time skip, but I do. And Ellie remembers it too. I think the power of love for each other made that miracle happen. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but could you please translate this man's gibberish so the rest of us can understand? So now I have to be the one to explain about the whole time travel thing? Go on, Nick. I know you can do it.
Looks like you don't have much choice, Nick.
To heck with it. I can't lose any more of my dignity today anyway. The defendant, Miss Ellen Wyatt, has told the defense the following strange story. She said that after the reception ended, she was attacked by Mr. Gloomsbury. She claims that as she was being assaulted, she made a wish upon her pendant. Please take me back to that blissful moment. Blissful. In doing so, time apparently rewound itself to just before the reception began. And what? I know it's hard to believe, but think about it this way. Through the power of the pendant, both Ellen Wyatt and Larry Butts experienced time travel. What?
Objection!
What absolute rubbish! Rubbish. Mr. Wright, I've heard my fair share of your nonsense over the years. But this takes the cake. Have you thoroughly lost your mind?
Objection!
But this is simply the conclusion I came to. Using that logic ability you love so much. What? The truth of the matter is, the future president of Sprocket Aviation, Soren Sprocket, has been researching time machines. So, what if a time machine has already been successfully created? And what if that's one of the Sprocket Aviation's top secret inventions? A time machine? Yeah! I even saw something while we were time traveling! I saw a pterodactyl flying through the sky! Maybe the airship was set to travel through time for their honeymoon trip. What? A pterodactyl?
Objection!
You can't possibly have any evidence to back up your ridiculous time travel story. Well, as I thought. In any case, I now have the evidence to prove that you're no more intelligent than Larry. Hold it. Not so fast now, Edgy. I'm not the same old Larry you used to know. Oh? You want evidence? I've got your evidence right here. This is the photo I secretly took of the first reception. What? What? Larry? I can't believe you! Well, anyway, good job! If we compare the photos of the first and the second receptions and can find a difference, then we'll be able to prove that the reception was held twice. But do you really think such a difference exists? Yes, Your Honor. I just need some time to find it for you. This is preposterous. Very well. Please show the court what's different then. I got nothing. Hello? This is proof that the wedding reception was held twice. Can we have a double look? Besides the angles, the rose, the bouquet. What did the other one show? If this is held twice right here, from this angle, correct. I want to zoom in on that on the bottom screen real quick. I want to zoom in because I want to know what the heck am I looking at. Screen capture. Zoom in this real quick. I want to zoom in real quick. I can't really tell what I'm looking at. Okay, what do we see here? The roses! The roses are different. It's definitely the roses.
Take that!
Please direct your attention to Miss White's bouquet of flowers. Hey, more clear detail. In the photo the one of her in-laws took, the defendant is holding a yellow bouquet. But in the photo Mr. Butts took, she is holding a red bouquet.
Yes, right.
That's impossible! What does this mean? It means the defendant really did experience two wedding receptions. And she did that when she traveled back through time. What?
Nick! You did it! You proved Ellen's time travel story to be true!
Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself. It's just as Ellen said, the reception was held twice. This turns every assumption we based this trial on upside down.
Objection!
I refuse to accept such ludicrous arguments. It is pure fiction under the guise of a pseudoscience at best. There is simply no such thing as time travel. I know it's hard, but can't you suspend your disbelief for 1 nanosecond, Edgeworth?
I bet sci-fi movies push all your buttons the wrong way, don't they, Edgeworth? I can totally picture you yelling, "That never happened!" 5 seconds at the scene. Maybe you should stay away from the movie dates altogether.
That's neither here nor there. This is real life we're talking about. But the proof is clearly shown in the 2 photographs. That's right, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how... Fine, I'll entertain your absurd delusion, if only to demolish it before your very eyes. What? Let's start with this then, shall we? There is one thing your time travel theory fails to explain. And that is the memories of the other guests there. The defendant and Larry remembered the reception occurring twice, but no member of the Sprocket family has ever mentioned such a thing. That's because the time machine is classified...
Objection!
I'm not done, you bird brain. Bird brain? As I was saying, if the entire family had been sworn to secrecy, then why hadn't they sworn the woman who was marrying into the family to secrecy too? That's a good point. Honestly, all it takes is a little common sense, Mr. Wright. Even still, how do we know that shift through time did not really occur? There is proof in the photos that it did, and besides, if time travel doesn't exist, well, I'd be a little disappointed, frankly. I was hoping to go back to the days of my youth. You must allow yourself to be taken in by Mr. Wright's whimsical tales, Your Honor. I've read about it in various literature, you see. And they all say that time travel is just not logical or feasible.
Maybe our argument was just a little too nonsensical, Nick.
Well, in that case, why don't we put common sense to the test? I don't get it. Excuse me? The wedding reception was held twice. The photos are proof of that. But it wasn't because of time travel. It's simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Isn't that the most reasonable way to interpret the situation? Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Wright? If time travel doesn't exist, then there's only one way to make sense of what happened. Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomenon, and that somebody is... everyone at the reception? So we have to make this sense, right? Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomenon, and that somebody is... I mean, we cannot say God. If everyone is sworn to secrecy, then we have to say everyone at the reception. Somebody must have orchestrated that strange phenomenon. Isn't it the most reasonable way to interpret the situation? Simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Everyone at the reception? Hey, I was right. What if all the guests of the reception conspired together to hold the reception twice and keep quiet about it? What? And for what purpose would they conspire to do such a thing? Well, a brilliant deduction defense? Who? Yet the butler! I can tell you are not a renowned lawyer for nothing. I must say I underestimated you. How so, Mr. Nakoti? You have managed to name each event precisely as they happened. You have revealed it all to the light of day. Why the organs? Then that means it was us. We orchestrated the whole thing. Yes, the reception was held twice. But not because of time travel, no. We simply held it a second time. What? Why? Why would you do such a thing? To make it as though the murder Miss Ellen committed never happened. Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen who killed Bloomsbury... Wait. Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen who killed Bloomsbury after the first reception experienced the reception one more time, she would think it was all a dream. It was he who ordered us to make it happen. However, only a few, myself included, knew of Miss Ellen's crime. Are you saying most of the guests attended to two receptions without knowing why? Indeed, they needed no reason. Master Soren told them to do it, and they did. So now we're gonna put Mr. Soren on the spotlight? That is the Sprocket way. Then who hid the body in the lantern? We did. Well, we did not anticipate the pedals finding their way in, not the actions of Mr. Butts. And that's how you intend to cover the whole situation up. There is just one thing everyone here has wrong. The real scene of the murder was not the hold, it was the Vista deck. What? Then Miss White's recollection of the events must be correct. I'll admit, we tried to cover this incident up, but the fact that Miss Ellen killed Bloomsbury is undeniable. This is quite a turn of events. Ew. And so it appears we have arrived at the truth at last. Now. Please do feel free to travel back in time, Mr. Wright, and attempt to do this trial over again. Go on.
Let's not get hasty, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, I bet you can't do it.
I bet I can't either!
Your Honor, we will have to hold a separate trial for the cover-up conspiracy later. But as far as this case goes, I believe we are ready for your ruling.
Objection!
Just before the defendant lost consciousness during her attack, she says she saw someone strike the victim. It's possible that the third party is the true culprit.
Objection!
You still want us to believe the defendant's words? Perhaps you lost more than your touch during your time abroad. The third person nonsense is nothing but rubbish, you know it.
Rubbish!
Objection!
But by the same token, how can we trust those who conspired and lied to fool this court of law? For all we know, they might still be hiding something.
You'll never know what to quit, do you? Now, calm down, both of you. In any case, there isn't enough trustworthy information yet for me to render a verdict. I suggest we continue the trial after both sides have investigated the matter further. Very well, Your Honor.
Phew, that was close.
Mr. Nakoti, as for you and your cohorts attempt to cover up this crime, your case will be brought to a separate trial following the resolution of this current one. Understood, Your Honor. Well then, the case concludes today's trial. Court is adjourned.
To be continued? To be continued? Yep. And with that, we'll end today's episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit that like button and comment performance. If you're a new, been looking to see, subscribe, and the Shark is TV, and I'm signing out.